Eamon, is that result difficult to stomach?
Yeah, it is. It's really disappointing. I thought we showed lots of fight, loads of connection. We didn't start the game particularly great, but we found a way to get ourselves back in, and for a lot of hard work and what we've practiced. But yeah, we go 7 points up with 12 minutes to go. We lack smarts to see that game out.
Is that the sort of frustrating thing about it, the game management in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. I think good teams, they see that period out, don't they? And we look frantic during that period when we just didn't need to be. Put ourselves under some pressure, and Woodness are a good team, which we said all week, and they'll get you. So yeah, very disappointing.
The average age of the side was 23 years and 6 months. Do you think that had a factor to play? Not so many leaders and experience out there in that final 10.
I thought we had leaders. Yeah, we've got some missing, but there's no excuse. We did enough to win that game, to see it out and put ourselves in a very good position to do so. And that's where my frustration comes from, because I just know how hard that they've worked. Some of the things that they were doing in there, they worked extremely hard. You look at some of those individual efforts, like a Ribidoro, etc. They worked extremely hard. But on the flip side of that, we're doing things that really hurts ourselves at the minute, and it's giving the opposition pressure releases. And we spoke all week about territory. It was a big theme for us. Knowing how dangerous Woodness are when they're attacking your goal line, and we give them too many chances.
You saw at full time clearly what it meant to the players. A lot of emotion out there on the field. I think every one of them were down on the haunches. Yeah,
they were. They are disappointed, but it's our own doing. We're gonna have to learn lessons and learn them quick. If you're 20 years of age, 23 years of age, or 30, it doesn't matter if you put that jersey on. We have to do our job, and they did for a period. But for how hard they work, for how hard they go at some parts of the game, when we're in a position to see a game out, we need to be very good and very calm in those periods, and we just weren't today.
Is that ultimately the difference then, Eamon, when push comes to a shove, that lack of composure in that sort of final 10?
Yeah, I believe so. I think we probably didn't get the start to our game right, which put us under pressure. And then when we kind of calmed ourselves, I thought our bench were huge for us when they came on. And once they found their rhythm, we were totally in control, I thought. And then we ended up going scoring some points from that. And I challenged them about starting the second half, as well as that they finished the first half. I felt like the first half probably came at a wrong time for us, because we were starting to come on top. And I thought they did that. I thought they went out second half and did exactly what we said, exactly what they said they were going to do, and put ourselves in a position to score some points again, and we went in front. But then we just kind of dipped in and dipped out of being really good, and then just some head explosions, which put us under some unnecessary pressure. Some we got away with as well. So again, we're going to have to learn quickly, like we just are.
Obviously the defeat is still very raw at this moment in time, but when you look at the adversity you faced, having to make 5 changes and bringing more players on loan, there was a lot of effort and a lot of character out there.
Oh, absolutely. Like I'm obviously clearly disappointed here now. And I just said that to the group. I think that's what makes it even more disappointing and even more frustrating, because I should be sat here going, God, we were under the pump. I think it's 8 we've actually got missing who have been starting 13. But well done, boys. You went and seen that game out. And I think you add on top of that the disappointment from York. I'd probably be a bit calmer if we just weren't at the races and we weren't able to compete with some teams, and that's why we were losing. But I truly believe in the group that they've got. Regardless of who's missing, the next man comes in and does his job. And we did it for periods today, just not long enough. And like I said, Woodness are a quality team, and they'll get you if you lack smarts.
Did you think the game was won when Bradford opened up that 7-point lead?
No, not at all. I know that they're dangerous. I felt that we still needed to kind of play, but we were playing like we needed to go and win the game, and we didn't need to do that. Again, our theme this week was territory. When we hand the ball over on our terms, we were doing really well in the second half in terms of restricting Woodness, and the only time they got out of their half was when we gave a penalty away, whether that was with or without the ball, and that kind of just gives them a massive pressure release. And then you find ourselves back on our own try line trying to come out of yardage. I thought we defended really well. They got us with a kick, which we said they'd go and do. That's credit to Widnes, they're a smart team. We just clocked off them. But more importantly, it was how they ended up being in that position. You know, that's what we spoke about all week, how we needed to play rugby down there, and when we invited them into ours, it caused us trouble.
Obviously the dressing room's going to be deflated and gutted, Eamon, but you know, how can you use what's happened today as a positive moving forward?
Well, I think if we want to be the group we want to be, it's not a positive, Mick. Like we should have seen that game out, and we didn't. So look, I'll be the first to get around the boys and just say, look, your effort was awesome, but we need to be better than that. Like we just do, and we've learned 2 harsh lessons now. Well, probably 3. The last time we played them here, York, and now this. We need to learn. The effort, what they do is outstanding. It's smart and trusted in what we practice and not going away from that, and being able to adapt in different times of the game when we're under pressure, when we don't need to put ourselves under pressure. Like we're 7 points up, probably didn't need to play the way that we were, you know, and we could see it coming. We could see it coming. Some of the things that we were doing, we just needed to probably calm ourselves down and not be as excitable, and just trust in what we practice and hand the ball over in our own terms and back our defence, because we were defending really well. Like I said, we'd do something very similar to York. We would either be an offside or I think we got one for a ball steal, and it's just a massive pressure release, and they were late in the set as well. So yeah, it's not a positive. We need to knock those out quickly.
Obviously you've highlighted the defence. You must be proud that when Tom Holmes was sent to the sin bin, you kept them scoreless at still 6 points to 0.
Yeah, I am. I have every confidence in them that they'll do that. It's not the first time we've done that this year. We work extremely hard defensively. Again, the start of the game, I thought we weren't at our best. I thought we lacked intent, but we managed to turn that around with some interchange, and certainly half time helped us with that. But I've got the utmost confidence in the team to defend their line. That's why we had a big theme on their last players, because we knew that we'd get to that point, but they're very dangerous, and they end up getting us on one. So yeah, their effort, the connection in terms of the goal line defence is, you know, they're resilient, they really are. But again, it's probably, I'm repeating myself here, we're doing too much of it. It's self-inflicted while we're down there so much.
And on the attacking front, certainly an eye-catching try for Tom Holmes, who was in support from Jordan Lilly right at the start of the second half. Yeah,
really good. Something that we practiced, so again, that was pleasing. I think we needed that at that point. You know, I think it took us 15 minutes to get play the ball inside their half, so you know, when we get down there, you know, I was fully expecting our attack to be a little bit clunky with the amount of changes that we've had, and bringing in Tom, who I thought looked like he'd never been away. But that our attack wasn't our issue today.
In terms of obviously this week, you knew you were going to lose obviously Chester Butler, Zach Fulton, and Sam Hallis. How late in the day were John Davis, George Tafua, in terms of, you know, your preparations and disruptions?
Yeah, they were before our last session, so yeah, but we kind of had an idea that they were struggling. JD trained the session before and was okay, but then woke up the next morning no good, and then Kieran Gill had it out. He was a bit off, so but he managed to play, which was good, as did Joe Rundle. But I think Joe Rundle will miss a couple of games now. What's
George Tafua done,
Eamon? Hamstring.
Is it looking lengthy, or was it?
No, he's fairly confident, so we're hoping it'll be a couple of weeks, maybe in contention this week. But obviously I've not seen the injured boys today. I'll get a report on them after the game and we'll find out where they're at.
You just mentioned there were a few players obviously who were touch and go. I guess it's credit to them for putting their hand up and playing when it could be easy to pull out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you know, Gilly didn't look great on Friday, but he's gone away and done the right thing, and he was good to go today. He looked 100%, as did Tyron Ott as well. So yeah, like I said, the group, they're desperate to play for the club. They don't want to be missing games. So yeah, but they were fine today. There's no excuse from me there with that.
Harvey Wilson had his bandage up at the end. Is he okay, or is that just a knock?
Yeah, we got a call about 30 minutes towards the end saying that he was struggling. He'd lost a little bit of power in his triceps, so we'll get him fixed up. I'm not sure what's happened with him, but he put his hand up just to say no, I'm not coming off. In
terms of where you want the side to be, is it an easy fix? Because I remember Lee Greenwood last year saying similar, Eamon, that if he feels certain players sometimes, you know, that that they can't be switched on for the full 80 minutes. You do find that with certain players.
Yeah, maybe so. I'll have a good chat with Greeny and Nobby. Like I'm confident. Like we're giving them the right things and they're taking it on board. You know, the element of concentration. I've just said to them, then like it's over to you with that. Like that's down to you. You know, we can, you know, design our training around that in terms of putting them under pressure and seeing how they handle that and what we do. But there comes a point when you hand the baton over to them, and what they've done very well this year is when we've done that, they've took it on board and they've gone hard at it, and we've reaped the reward for that. They've been fantastic. Today they did an element of that, but we were very rusty in areas, and you know, probably the last period where we lacked some smarts, that was the one that really hurt us. We kind of got away with a few before that as well. So we'll have a look at it. We'll stick together. I've no doubt about that. They're a close group, but like, we've got to learn and got to learn quickly, because that's not good enough. Just
finally from me, obviously Eben Sker's been out jumping at the bit. Has he come through unscathed?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, he looks alright. He's obviously fatigued, which you'd imagine missing 12 weeks, but no, it was good to see him back out there.
And Zach Fulton, obviously he'll be available next week.
Yeah.
So John Davis, what was the injury he's got?
Neck injury. Yeah. So he got a little bit of a crusher type tackle at York. Managed to kind of see the game through, but then he's been struggling with that. So he didn't train at the beginning of the week. We got through to Thursday. He wanted to test it. Came through okay, but as normal with necks, you kind of go home, you have a kip, you wake up the next morning, and he was really struggling. So, you know, if JD's putting his hand up and saying, look, I'm no good, he's no good. So he looks a lot more comfortable now, so hopefully we'll have him in contention next week.
I was going to say, you know, players missing, but that's a steady figure, you know, for everybody when he's out there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he is. He kind of, you know, he just gives us a little bit of direction in doing what he needs to do, and he'll bark at a few people, and you know, they listen. So yeah, we miss him. I'll put Bruno and Dan Smith in that category as well. They, you know, we probably missed them today in that period where we needed to see that game out.
I was going to say, did you miss someone that perhaps not having a go, but having a little bit of a bark and just sort of saying, calm down, do this, do that?
Potentially, yeah. I'll find that answer out through the players. We certainly didn't look like we kind of, not that we didn't know what we were doing, but what we needed to do. Like we were trying, but some of the things we were doing were crazy. So yeah, you look when you have them sort of senior players out there who've been there and done it before. Someone just says, "Nah, this is what we're doing. Let's all get on board," and everyone kind of gets on board with that.
Obviously, you know, we've seen what cutthroat division this league is. I mean, you're 3-3. Does that sort of dilute a little bit the way you started the last couple of weeks? Because you know, when you looked at the fixtures originally, I think everyone thought, God, it's a tough first month, and you came through it so well.
Yeah, it does. I mentioned that briefly in there. The reason why we're probably not 5 from 6 is because of us, and that's not being disrespectful to the opposition, but we've got things wrong in those two games, and the last two games, which really hurts. It really hurts. You know, if we've stuck to what we practice and we're all in for 80 minutes and we come out on the wrong side of that, then I can be a little bit more understanding and we can look at what we're doing. But you know, there's too many periods of you know, probably self-sabotage at times where we're hurting ourselves, which again, that's down to me to find out why we're doing it, if it's the same individuals that are consistently doing it, and then fix it.
I was going to say it's a strange area to try and coach out self-inflicted moments, isn't it? But that's what you've got to find, isn't it, really?
Yeah, that's down to me to find out, and I will.